welcome. Thanks for coming to this meeting that Jarrett called. How did you make your way to different church?
Well, that's like actually an interesting question because I used to go to like a very evangelical church. You know, I grew up in all those kind of circles. Like I would say that like the previous church I'd been to was like a non-denominational secret Baptist with a Pentecostal flair.
Ooh, Baptist-costal.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But I kind of like left that church in a hurry. There was like a lot of just kind of drama happening in my life, and I was dealing with like a lot of mental health issues. And so I just like needed to take a step back from that for a while and kind of figure out who I was. And so I started this journey in therapy, and I spent a lot of time working on myself in a way that wasn't attached to like what I thought that religion wanted me to be, I guess. And kind of putting the pieces of myself back together, I realized that faith was important to me. And I wanted to find a way that I could explore faith in a way that I wasn't compromising myself. And so my therapist at the time introduced me to the idea of progressive churches, which I didn't know that was a thing at all. And I was like, what does that even mean? But then I found a website called gaychurch.org, and sure enough, different churches on there. And the thing actually that like pulled me to different church, because I tried a few different churches and they were mostly for an older generation, very liturgical, and that's just not my style. But different churches' website had younger people on it, and that was compelling to me. So,
What made you just realize that faith was still going to be an important part of your life?
yeah, I mean, I think a big part of that is like I grew up in the church. I spent so much of my time like I was on the worship team. I led small groups. Every single day, like all of the people I had my life around with were people that were in the church with me. And so I couldn't just be like it wasn't like one day I just didn't believe anymore. It was that like I felt like I didn't belong. And so when I was figuring out who I was like, this is something that's never I could let go of. Like, I still very much like, believe in God, and I believe in the way that faith changes people and the sense of community it brings, and the way that we can really help each other through faith. And that was something that I had really missed when I was kind of doing this self-exploration period. And I know that you kind of like, you left your previous church and you started different. What made you to decide to not walk away either?
I tried to walk away a long time before we started different church, like probably after college. There was a period of about a year where I was like, I just don't think I need this in my life. And I had a degree in Jesus, a degree in church.
Yeah.
So it was like a really weird transition, but I just was a little fed up with people.
Yeah.
And I was fed up with churches, and I was fed up with people like saying one thing and acting another way, and like was fed up with the lack of transparency,
Right.
and just all kinds of things. And I was just like, you know what? Like maybe I'll just live my life and I can just connect with God by myself, which is totally valid. People can do that all over the place. But for me, I think two reasons. One, I'm just an extrovert and I need people.
Yes.
To process things. Like small group is like my favorite part of church because I get to talk to actual live people, humans, instead of just my kids. But there was a point where I was like, actually, that is my home base.
Yeah.
Like the home base of my life is church since I was born. Like I was practically born in church. So I went back. And then I got a seminary degree. And then I started working in church. And then that ended violently. And then we started a different church because the main reason that I think Jarrett and I went forward with this, and a few other people at the time, was because we were like, well, there are progressive churches. There is space for people to go places. But where do the evangelicals go? I couldn't find anywhere that was like not liturgical.
Yeah.
Or wasn't super, super focused on social justice or super focused on some kind of liturgy. And I was like, what if we want like loud music? And and I don't know. I feel like the home base that I grew up in is not represented very much in progressive church. So we kind of had to make it exist, which is wild.
Yeah.
Did you tell me one time that you saw Different Church at a Pride parade and that's what made you come visit too?
Yeah. I don't know if it was different specifically, but at one point, I wasn't out to anyone yet, but I have a lot of like gay family members and they were all out and I was still figuring myself out. And so they were like, oh, just come to Pride with us. And I was like, I don't really know. Like, I was still very much in the evangelical circles that I was in, but I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I'll go. I love these people. And so I went to the Pride Parade and I saw churches in it. And I thought that was so crazy to me. I mean, the way I grew up was very like, these two things are separate. And the only time they ever come together is in disagreement. Like, they only come together in hatefulness. And there was never like, we love these people. And if it was very like, oh, like, we love you for now. You know, we love you so that you'll change. You know, it was never like, you're here, that's great, let's leave it at that, you know? And so seeing people at Pride, like in churches and like churches with signs that are like, God loves you, you know, just the way you are and all of that, it was like something in my brain clicked of like, wow, like that is possible, you know? Like that's a reflection that people have, and not just like a person, but like groups, churches, and being able to kind of see that in a way opened that option to me. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what Pride is and why?
Yeah.
So one of the pushbacks that I think people get or churches get when we participate in Pride is, oh, we don't want to celebrate sexuality.
Right.
And it's obviously this I don't want to say obviously, but to them it's like, oh, this party of like just celebrating sex is what they think it's about. So can you talk about like what Pride actually is to you?
Yeah.
And why you think it fits in with faith?
Yeah. So the origin of Pride actually comes from 1969 and the Stonewall riots. So Stonewall is a bar that's still open in New York. But at the time, there were a lot of rules and laws about gay life and drag and things like that. And so there were raids that were taking place in these gay bars. And one such raid happened at Stonewall, June 20-something, 1969, and a few people fought back. Marsha P. Johnson is kind of known as like one of the leaders of that era. And so they, kind of started a riot. And that's what we celebrate when we celebrate Pride, is we're celebrating that journey from that start from Stonewall to 2007 when gay marriage was legalized, and kind of that journey that queer identities have been on throughout America's timeline. And so that's really what Pride is about. And I think that when we're thinking about faith, a lot of that is tied to your own self-expression. I think that faith is something that is very intimate and is like your unique relationship with God and with the world around you. And I think that is intrinsically tied to your core. And like, I don't think that there is a world where you can separate faith from your identity. And so that when we're celebrating Pride, what we're really celebrating is people being themselves holy. And I think that is also what faith should be. So that's why I think that those things are beautiful when they're tied together. And I mean, of course, Pride can get a little rambunctious. That is like part of the celebration, I think, but it's not the whole thing. And I think that is like when it becomes that, we're almost missing the point. The point is that we want to celebrate everybody's identity.
I love that you said we're celebrating people for who they are, and that's good for everybody. It's the same thought I have when people are like, oh, well, we don't need feminism because it just wants to put down men. And I'm like, no, actually, it's good for women and it's good for men to be in this equal relationship and have equity between them. And so like when queer people can be fully themselves, then maybe straight people can be fully themselves, and we can stop fighting each other. We can stop harassing each other. We can stop putting people in tiers of who belongs and who doesn't and what's right and what's wrong, and just simply say, when you live into the fullest, truest expression of who you are, that actually is how God made you. And therefore, that's the best part of faith. Like, you have the most access to God when you're not lying or hiding parts of yourself.
Yeah.
And I think straight people can learn a lot, me included, from queer people, because there are so many, like, just because we're not hiding our sexuality doesn't mean we're not hiding other things.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so the example of having an entire event and multiple events every year to say, hey, we're not hiding who we are anymore. And actually, we can celebrate who we are. And that's not a bad thing. It's good. God celebrates us.
Yeah.
Which is our theme for Pride this year. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, how did you decide that you want different to be a part of Pride?
It was never really a question for me. I think I had an idea of what Pride was because I had never been to a Pride parade until I got, how do I put this? Until we left, quote unquote, our previous church, because I knew I wasn't going to be allowed to go, right? But I had been to plenty of other parades in Ybor City and like the St. Patty's Day parade and the Gasparilla parade. And like, so I just assumed that was very similar, with Pride being more colorful, probably. And also it's in June, so it's too hot. Hard-hitting question. Do you think the Florida Pride Parade should be in June?
That's a great question, and I understand the reason, right? Like, because I talked about the end of June being when the riots occurred, and that's what we're celebrating. I do wish that they had had a riot in, like, November.
Yes, can we have November Pride or February Pride?
Yeah.
We drink hot cocoa. Anyways, what was I supposed to be answering? It was never a question for me. So we started as a church in 2020, and I immediately wanted us to be in the Pride Parade. But of course, COVID happened, and everything got canceled. The world got canceled. And so we didn't have anything to participate in until 2021. And for me, it's always been, it does not matter to me if not a single person comes to different church because of our presence in Pride. The presence at Pride that bothers me the most is the people who are yelling and the people who have megaphones and the people who are just being nasty and awful to other human beings who are created in the image of God. And if you talk to them, and I have, they won't pray with you. They might pray for you, but mostly they're going to like berate you.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how that's supposed to save anyone, telling people that they're just the worst. And I was like, we just need people to know that there is a space.
Yes.
That there is a space where, like, that God is not gatekept, that God is not prevented, or that you are not prevented from accessing God.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody believed us the first year. Like, all of the conversations we had in 2021 were people being like, all right. I'm like, are you inclusive? I'm like, yes, we're inclusive and affirming, and we celebrate you. And they're like, okay. No, you're not. But we've been in the Pride Parade every single year, and now it's 2025, and people are starting to remember.
Yes.
And be like, oh, you actually mean it. Like, it's not actually a trick. We're not going to come into the church, and you're going to be like, just kidding. I want to pray for your eternal soul.
Yeah. One of our friends, Mary, that goes to our church, she was at a rally for abortion, like the Tampa Bay Abortion Fund, that group. And there was a woman there that is not affiliated with our church at all. I've never met her, never seen her come to our church, but she had one of our stickers from the Pride Parade. And that was so cool to hear it from her. So I love that. And I think that is so, so important, because I remember when I first came to Different, and I remember being like, oh yeah, like, everybody says they're inclusive. Like, there are so many churches that are like, we love everybody. And then after you're there for about a month, you go to coffee. And at coffee, they tell you we're concerned. And then it starts to become, you have to change, or you're getting the boot, or you can do this, but you can't be in leadership, Then when I came to Different, it was probably in March. And so conversation about Pride had started to begin, like, just kind of like announcing that we're doing Pride and all of that. And I remember like meeting Gianna, our worship leader, pastor, or band leader. And like, she is a beautiful queer woman. And I just remember feeling like, oh my God, like, this is real. Like, this is not a charade. This is not something we're pretending like to bait and switch people. This is legitimately you just are cool.
Mm-hmm. And I also want to say, like, another one of the pushbacks we get is like, oh, if you say that you're inclusive, if you say you're affirming, if you say God celebrates you, then that means that you just think anything goes, that someone could just come into your church naked, or someone could come in and just start punching everyone in the face. Like, we just don't call out any evil at all ever in the world, because we just accept everyone for who they are, and it's all loosey-goosey. And I just want to make it really clear that who people are is not evil. God created us good, and that is something to celebrate. We are capable of doing all kinds of horrible things to each other and to ourselves. I mean, take any look at history or the state of the world. And like, first of all, I think there's bigger things to be concerned about than who someone loves. And also, like, just because we are capable doesn't make that who we are. Like, I think that faith actually calls us back to the truest, most honest, most authentic version of ourselves, which is good because God made it that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
What has your experience been with different church being in Pride? Because you've been involved many times, and now you are a Pride Empress in charge of putting together everything for the Pride Parade.
Yeah, so I started off, I think it was like the post-COVID year, where there was like, they broke it into like 4 events. So I volunteered at the music festival event. That was really great. I remember being so excited that I brought my sister with me, who really didn't care, but I was like, this is the best. Like, I'm volunteering with a church at Pride. That's crazy. Like, I was so excited about it. The next year, I remember just like being so excited, like shopping with my friends for like Pride clothes that I'm gonna get get to wear in the parade, because we were walking, and how cool that was going to be. And I just remember like all of the like giddy excitement that I felt, like knowing that like I get to do this and I don't have to be like shy about it. And I believe that also was the year where we did biographies for Pride, and I got to speak to everyone about what Pride meant to me, and that was so great, and it's so exciting. And I even like every once in a while, like, I don't know how people are finding it, like Instagram, I guess, but every once in a while someone would be like, yeah, I saw your biography and that was great. And because I was all dressed up in my cute little outfit, I have my makeup on, so there's no like question about, is she like, like, I'm not being coy. And yeah, so then we did that, and then the following year, I hope I'm getting my timeline correct, but the following year we started the Pride Committee, and we designed, or I guess I designed.
You designed, own it.
I designed all of our campaign and like swag and all of that for God Celebrates, or nope, that one was, I didn't say that, from God. And we made a little Jesus with a little sassy sash. And that was so fun. And it was just, I don't know, it means so much to me that like, because I was telling somebody the other day that like, I firmly believe that like, my superhuman power is to help people. And there's like a quote from New Girl where she says like, sometimes I think I was born in a lab to help people. And I think about that a lot. And I'm like, me too. And so like, this is a way that I can like tangibly help other people find our church, but also help the people in the church see what we're doing. And also like, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I work in graphic design and social media. So like, this is right up my alley. It's stuff that I'm passionate about, but I'm also getting to do it with people that I love. And so all of that together, and then like this year we're doing it again, and yeah, it's been fabulous. What's your experience been with Pride?
Joy. The word I would assign is joy. Like, other than being hot and sweaty unbearably.
Absolutely.
For like 10 hours on the Pride Parade Saturday and the street festival the next day. I think like, I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't like the overwhelming sense of just happiness and positivity in the parade, and also even in the street festival when people are just walking around from tent to tent. Like, all the conversations we have, every once in a while we'll get someone who's like, no, I don't like you. But most of the people are like, oh my gosh, you're a church?
Right.
What? And they might not even care about God. They might not have faith at all. But so many people are like, hey, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a voice against everything awful that the church has been putting out for all of these years. And not that we need that. We would do it anyways. But like, I don't know, just this overwhelming sense of like happiness that comes from pride is infectious. It's like when a baby laughs and like everyone around it laughs. That's what pride is to me. It's like this, which is the feeling everyone gets when they get to be themselves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Why do you think more churches should get involved in Pride? Because in our Pride Parade, I think that last year there were 3, maybe 4. They were all liturgical plus us, who is not liturgical, obviously. So like if a church is on the fence and they're like, I don't know, I've never been to Pride, I've never been involved in Pride, I'm scared of Pride, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to do it. Like why should they consider doing it? And like what are some steps they could take?
Yeah. That's a great question. I think that one thing I want to start with is like make sure your heart is in the right place, because I have seen some churches come to Pride and then they don't mean what they say. And so I don't want to place more people in harm's way by having churches that are misaligned come. But if you mean what you say and you want to celebrate queer people, like this is the spot to do it, and there's a way to do it safely. I think that, all it takes is the first step, right? Like just, you can come and sign up for a booth, sign up for the parade. It is a little bit of like a financial burden sometimes to sign up for those things, but I do think that it's important to show up for these people, and it really is, it means a lot to the community. And so many people that I know are so burned by churches that they don't even want to step foot in one. And they're scared of people that are religious. So I think that showing up into their space in a way that is non-threatening and saying like, we're just here to celebrate you, like that means so much to people. So yeah, I mean, I think like it doesn't have to be crazy. You don't have to have a float. You don't have to have like a giant balloon, like Jesus floating. Like you don't have to have anything crazy. Just be there. If you don't have like all of the finances or whatever, like just, get a tent, just hang out, I met one lady, actually, I was just volunteering with St. Pete Pride at an event that we weren't volunteering at. And there was a woman that was, I don't know the words, but like dressed in her pastorly garb, the robes, and she had like a little rainbow sash on. Her whole church wasn't there, but she was just there as a pastor to like be like, I'm a part of this church and we celebrate people. And that was like a really easy way for her to be like, yeah, like we don't have all of the resources, but I just want to show people I'm here. And I thought that was great. Yeah.
I saw something at Pride last year, and it was a group of moms who all had the same shirt, and they were just going around giving hugs to people who wanted hugs. And it was like, if your mom isn't going to give you a hug, if you have a strained relationship with your parents, I'll be your mom today. Like, I'll hug you. And I feel like that's literally the point. The point is not swag. The point is not giving stuff away. The point is not being crazy. The point is just showing up for people, which again, life lesson from Pride for our whole life, right? Like this is what you do if someone's grieving, if someone's upset, if someone's going through a hard time, even if someone's happy, just be there. It doesn't have to be extravagant. It can be. Like we can throw a party, but it doesn't have to be, and it's still beautiful.
Yeah. This is such a tangent, but like it was just my birthday the other day.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. And literally the most meaningful thing that my friends did for me for my birthday is they came over and they ordered pizza and we watched my favorite movie. And like that's all I wanted.
What's your favorite movie?
Surf's Up.
All right.
The classic 2000s surfing penguin movie.
This has been Deep Talks with Rachel. That's a great movie. My favorite movie is Oliver and Company, followed very closely by Legally Blonde.
Excellent choice.
I don't know where I would go if different churches didn't exist. Like, I know that I'm like, oh, like the church is made up of you and we need you guys here. And like, but I need different church to exist because I don't think I am at home anywhere else anymore either. And I need community. I need the music, and I need like other people in order to have the best relationship with God that I can. And I'm sure I would land somewhere, but I don't know that I would take my kids with me if I was going somewhere else. And I don't know. I don't know. It's just I need different church to exist.
Yeah. Shout out to Allison, doing great with our kids.
Shout out to Allison, who is about to be ordained.
Yes, June 1st.
She's getting ordained on June 1st because
Pride Month.
It's Pride Month. Yes. And I am just really privileged to be able to do that, to be able to look at the gates and the fences and the walls and the fortresses that the church has built, being like, no, you can't get ordained because you're a woman. You can't get ordained because you're queer. You can't get ordained because you did not follow every 1600th fundamental truth that you can't do all of this. And I, along with some other people, because I don't make decisions by myself, but along with some other people, it can be like, actually, we do think that God has this thing for you to do, and we want to acknowledge that and celebrate it. Celebration seems to be a theme.
Yeah. What are you most looking forward to this Pride season?
This is going to be a ridiculous answer. Not being pregnant. The first Pride that we did, the first Pride was canceled because of COVID, and I was pregnant during that. The next Pride, I had to take breaks because I was pumping in my car to feed the baby who was at home, and I have a distinct memory of my spouse calling me and being like, she's been screaming for 45 minutes. I don't know if she's ever going to calm down. You have to come home. And I was like, I don't know how to come home. I have to break down the tent. And then not last Pride, but the Pride before, I was actually I was 6 months pregnant, maybe 7 months pregnant with Noah, who's my youngest. And I walked in the Pride parade. And I was so excited, slammed a Mountain Dew before the parade. And I walked and I was so happy. And then at the end of the parade, I thought I was about to die. And thankfully, Pastor Jordan helped me take everything back to my car because I don't know if I could have made it. It hurt so bad. And then last year I had an infant. So I don't know. I'm just really excited to go and be a
free.
whole person, not pregnant, not nursing, just a regular lady.
Yeah, human being.
A regular human being who may still drink a Mountain Dew, but can skip around and
yeah.
not wear a nursing bra to Pride. Not that it's bad, but it's rough.
What advice do you have as someone who's endured Pride in all forms?
I have so much advice. First of all, if you're going to Pride in Florida, you should find a different church and walk with us in the parade because it is much cooler to be in the parade than it is to be in the audience. The audience is a couple 100,000 people, right? And it is sweaty people packed like sardines. They're all happy, but they're so sweaty. And it is so hot. And when you're in the parade, there's no one touching you. And there's a breeze. So it's much cooler. Number 2, sunscreen, people.
Yes.
Sunscreen. If you're coming into town and you don't understand the Florida sun, it will destroy you. Reapply. You need water. You need sunscreen. You probably need a hat. You need comfortable walking shoes. Don't be wearing your flip-flops to the Pride parade. Your toes will get stomped on. It will be awful. Also, you're going to have to park 7 miles from where the parade is. Snacks. You need snacks. What else? Be excited.
Yeah.
And ignore the haters because there will be stations of haters with megaphones and you can totally just not talk to them. Also, I want to lift. If this is a burden on any queer person, you do not have to accept a homework assignment from someone you don't know. Okay? So if they're trying to engage you and fight you and harass you and tear you down or be well, what do you think about this scripture? You don't have to accept that homework assignment. You are not in school. They do not have any say over your life. Ignore them. Move on. Don't even give them the time of day because we're just feeding the trolls and we don't feed the trolls. And also, if anyone's going to engage, it should be me. I'm the straight person. I'm the one who should argue with them, not you. Go celebrate and be excited and ignore them entirely.
That's great advice.
Don't feed the trolls on the internet or in real life. A fun story. Rachel once gave me a pin that says don't feed the trolls. And I have it right here.
Yeah. Very cute. R.I.P. Twitter.
That's a whole
different podcast.
I don't know. What's your advice?
Yeah, I think all of your advice is really good. I definitely think hat, sunscreen. I have a bag of tricks. Last year, I started bringing a wagon with me to Pride because something else, if you're a participant, you get so much free stuff that I just like was like hauling my little wagon around and putting stuff in my wagon. And then like, yeah, like I have like a UV lined sun umbrella. So I like have that in my wagon and like a canteen. Like you need to prepare like you are going to summer camp.
Yes.
Yeah, because every single year I'm like, this might be the year I die. But I would be happy dying. But you do really like, you really need to be prepared. But yeah, also like, yeah, just be ready to have fun. If you're an introvert, mentally prepare for the amount of people you're going to be around. I'll also say St. Pete Pride does a really good job of like organizing transportation. So you can park at a local school and there are buses that will shuttle you to the Pride event. And I think that that is the most efficient way. Of course, like Uber, drink responsibly, all of those good things too. There is like food available, but like it never hurts to pack a protein bar, you know? Yeah.
Yes, the amount of peanut butter balls I have forced upon people who have walked in the Pride Parade and are looking like they're about to pass out is a lot. Yeah. It's a lot. We go through a whole bag of peanut butter balls every year. Do you have anything to say about the street festival?
Yeah, the street festival is a really great time. I think that for like us in particular, for me, the parade is like kind of like we're showing up, right? And then the street festival is like this is like, I don't know how to explain this. So if the parade is like, okay, we're doing the thing, and then the street festival is like, we're saying the thing, or we mean it. Because anybody can like walk in the parade, but like to stand in the street festival, like that one's even hotter. It's even more grueling sometimes with like, cause you're on the concrete and it's like up at you and it's like 12 to 5 p.m. It's like the hardest time of the day. And so for us to be there, and it's a great time for us to like really talk to people, you know, when you're in the parade, it's kind of like, yeah, like you get the 30 seconds of woo, like, and then it's over and you don't know anything about, like when I went to Pride and I saw that church, I was like, oh, okay, like it was a moment that clicked for me, but also I had no idea what that church was. To this day, could not tell you who they are. Never spoke to them, never looked them up again. But if you go to the street festival, we're actually like hanging out. When I'm in the parade, I am running and I'm throwing things at people and I'm shouting. Like I am not processing anything. I think last year I gave somebody my shirt. Like there's no time for me to stop and talk to someone. But at the street festival, you can really like get to know people. You know, they can have that moment of like, oh, are you safe? Okay, you're actually safe. You mean what you say. It's more meaningful. And it's like really where you can connect and have those like real moments.
Yeah, I agree. The street festival is like, it is in some ways harder, but it is more interactive.
Yeah.
Plus there's more food. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I would say that if you are looking for a community that welcomes you, this is the one. I mean, there are others, but we are one. And we're happy to have you. Join us for the parade. Join us for the street festival. You're welcome to come and walk with us. Or if you're a little shy, just come say hi. We're around and we're happy to have you. This year's theme is God Celebrates You. I'm very excited about it. I'm excited for us to just have this opportunity to celebrate. We picked this theme because it's something that Hannah has actually said a lot and is something that has meant a lot to a lot of the members of our church that are queer when I was asking people around like what they thought about Pride. And that's why we chose the theme, because we wanted it to be something that's authentic to us and also very literal. We don't want there to be any concern about like, oh, but like what does celebrate mean? Like, do you actually, or like, is this partially, or like in 6 months, are you going to take me to coffee? Like, no, like God celebrates you, period, exclamation point, exclamation point. That's it. So I'm very excited for us to have all that done. I know we just ordered the shirts, so it's going to be a really fun time. Come on out.
And if your church does not have the resources to participate in Pride, come walk with us. We have lots of spots available. We've never hit the max. Not that they're counting, but we've never hit the max.
Right.
So we have plenty of room if you'd like to come be less hot at the Pride Parade.
Yeah, for real.